Hi, I'm Tyler Keefe, host of the Michigan Megacast, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to noon. Join me as I talk about Michigan's top news stories with experts and leaders from across the state, covering everything including businesses, events, hot topics, and yes, even politics. Watch on our smart TV and smartphone apps and on the web on mymytv.com. It's the Michigan Megacast, weekdays 11 a.m. to noon right here on My.
My Michigan TV, My. This is My Michigan TV, a unique news streaming television network. To watch simply add our app to your smartphone or smart TV. You can also watch online at mymytv.com. My Michigan TV, My.
Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome to The Splash Live. I am Larry Nyland. Thank you to everyone from West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake for tuning in on this wonderful Tuesday morning. The Splash Live is Greater West Bloomfield's very own daily TV and radio streaming show. Watch us live Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. on Civic Center TV. Catch us on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, on the web at civiccentertv.com, on Civic Center TV's Facebook app, and you can even listen live on 89.3 Lakes FM. The Splash Live is part of Civic Center TV and Lakes FM's 90 minutes of live local programming. Looking at the weather today, well, it's going to be another dreary, cold, damp day on tap with a high of around 54. Tonight, it's going to get cloudy with a low of 46. And then for Wednesday, again, mostly cloudy skies with a high of around 55 degrees. Looking at some headlines today, coming up this Sunday, it is the big West Bloomfield Fire Department. They are kicking off the Fire Prevention Week by holding their annual
Fire Prevention Week is just around the corner.
Road. Well, we're going to take a look at a great promo that Calvin Brown made. We took a look, just a little 5 seconds, but we're going to take a look at the whole thing because you know why? It's just that good. We're going to see the beginning twice and the end once. Let's take a look.
Fire Prevention Week is just around the corner. Join volunteer, part-time, and on-call firefighters at this year's Fire Open House. Catch up on your fire safety knowledge with live demonstrations and hands-on activities. Chat with local businesses and resources about fire prevention, see some familiar faces, fight future fires, and make some new friends. The West Bloomfield Fire Open House, October 2nd from noon to 3 p.m. at Fire Station 1 on Orchard Lake Road.
That promo brought to you by Don't Burn the House Down, Calvin Brown. Thank you so much. Again, that's this Sunday from 12 to 3 at Fire Station 1 in West Bloomfield. And if you can't be at the event, tune in as we bring you all the festivities right here on Civic Center TV. Well, looking again at last Friday's tough road loss for the West Bloomfield Laker football team. They went down to defeat at Rochester Adams 35-18. Coach Tyrese Grice is already rallying the troops, and our own Tyler Keefe had the chance to talk with Coach Grice, who broke down just what went wrong in that loss at Rochester Adams.
I think one of the biggest lessons we learn is learn to be humble. I think going into this game, we felt that we was prepared, but we just didn't do a good job executing at all three levels. We didn't do well in the kicking game. We gave up the big plays on defense. After watching film, we shut down the running game, but we gave up the big plays. And then offensively, we were able to pull, get our offense going like we usually do. They ran 8 men in coverage, so that was hard for our quarterback to read. But it was a lesson learned, a lesson that when you go into these games, you got to come completely prepared, and you can't slack off. It's weekend. Every week is a tough game, so you can't take one game and be high for it, and the next game you got low for it. You got to always keep that mindset that everybody's coming to bring their A game towards you.
So what did they do that really broke that plane early on in the game? Because West Bloomfield came out, capitalized on a mistake, took an early lead. It was a tie shortly after that. And then for a while, it was really a back and forth matchup between your two teams. Offense maybe not producing for both teams, and at times the defenses for both teams being downright dominant. So where did that dynamic change and Rochester Adams have the chance to take that momentum and really ride that forward?
I think a lot of it had to do with the attitudes of our players and our coaches and how we, when they scored on us, we kind of like, what do we do next? And the team itself kind of like we started to disrupt ourselves, and all of a sudden we got penalties. We beat ourselves in a lot of situations. We had a lot of personal foul penalties. Offensively, we dropped a lot of passes, but it was a lesson learned, and we need one of these losses like this so we can get ready for the next game and get ready for the future of the season. So every year, there's always, I've been here 11 years now, there was always that one game that we don't do well against an opponent, but as a coaching staff and as a team, we come together, and that really excels us to the next level.
And you mentioned that sometimes teams need to take a loss like that to really figure out who they are, who they need to be champions down the line. What can your team take from that loss, the positives from that game, but also some things to improve on across the board that will make them a stronger team, not just next week, but as they pursue a championship?
Well, we just got to cut down the mental mistakes and the penalties, and more importantly, just come out and execute the game plan. I don't think we did a good job with that. We have guys not doing what they're supposed to do. So we watched film, we straightened some things out, and next week you're gonna see a different team.
Yeah, things don't get exactly any easier from here. Playing in the OAA Red Division, one of the toughest in the entire state, going up against a team that's on the comeback trail in Lake Orion under their new head coach, same as their old head coach, Chris Bell, legend out there in Lake Orion. Coming out of the Rochester Adams game, 35-18 loss. Some positives from that game, Coach, that you want your team to continue to capitalize on going forward, especially coming back home for 2 weeks against Lake Orion and Oxford.
Well, I think the positive is we learned we have to realize we have to come together as a team. And I think that's the message has been put out there. I think that's the key, is making sure our players understand that the goal is to win a state championship, but there's a journey along the way. And along that journey, you're going to go through ups and downs, and can you persevere? And that was a lesson learned from us, is that can our boys persevere through our adversity? And that was one of the biggest things that we got out of that. So as we move forward, you're going to have some guys score on you. You're going to have some guys, those teams do some things to you. You just got to make sure you keep a level head no matter what.
And we are all looking forward to a hopeful redemption this Friday against Lake Orion at the Lakers' home field, the Swamp in West Bloomfield. As always, tune into the live game on Civic Center TV and WBTV. And if you don't have time to sit down and watch it, listen live on the go at 89.3 Lakes FM. We're going to go to a quick break here on the Splash Live. And when we get back, I'll be talking with our good friend Suzanne Levine from the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head on, visit michigan.gov/flu. I'm feeling good. Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I am Larry Nyland. Well, we are almost back to normal following the COVID pandemic, and rising inflation has now taken a toll on businesses just like it is the average citizen. Here to talk about how things look for local businesses in the area is Suzanne Levine, Executive Director of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you on this typical fall day?
It is beautiful. Well, this is what we're getting a lot with these seasons, where it will go from you're in the middle of one season and then you're all of a sudden you start there's those transitions anymore.
Absolutely. I still have my winter coats and fall coats in the basement, and now it's time to bring them upstairs. So, although we still may get some sort of Indian summer, so I know out west it's in the 90s, so
Yeah,
nobody
it's
knows.
supposed to be about 70 this weekend, so it looks like it might be a nice weekend. And for our big firehouse open house, Suzanne, I'm sure we will see you there.
Oh,
You're everywhere, Suzanne. You were at the ribbon cutting for the West Bloomfield Middle School. How did you become a part of that?
well, the middle school, the school district is a really great chamber supporter. So when they asked if I could bring my scissors, have scissors will travel. And ribbon, of course, I said, absolutely, I'll be there. And we had another ribbon cutting that day at Complexion Spa, which was quite the affair. I was calling friends to come and pretend like it was my party. They had a taco truck and a pizza truck and a cappuccino cart. So they really know how to make a party, great. And I wasn't expecting to speak, so that was kind of, they sort of didn't want to talk, and so there I am everywhere. I'm sure people are getting tired of hearing me talk.
So, Suzanne, you made a reference to the scissors. Where does one get those giant ribbon cutting scissors? Is there an Amazon store we can get them at, or how does that
Yes,
work exactly?
yes, absolutely. Amazon provides just about everything a person could need, even though I don't like to support them, quite honestly, because it's taking away from our small local businesses. But sometimes it's just hard to find those things in our shops. So yes, Amazon is the one that provides. They even make scissors that are bigger, but I didn't know if I could actually carry them. So that's about all I can handle in the size of scissors.
I know you did bring up how we don't like to support Amazon, and it's everybody has Amazon, and it makes your life at times so easy. When you're getting, especially a lot of times, medical things that I have to get for my mom and things like that, they can come in like a day. But like you look at down Orchard Lake Road, that the Bed Bath and Beyond is closing, and I mean that's a result of places like Amazon. People are buying those products there and don't choose to. I mean, where do you think that this is gonna end up? I mean, do you think Amazon should be considered a monopoly at this point?
I think it is definitely an issue, and I think the pandemic really boosted it, beyond, really beyond anything any of us could have imagined, because people weren't leaving their homes. And so it's so easy to, go online and order from Amazon. I know that even sometimes when I go into some big box stores, I can't find some of the items that I want. And so it's easy to go there and order, but I'm really trying to be cognizant of the fact that if we don't support our local businesses, it hurts the entire community, not just the families that are running these businesses, but, they support our school system, they support our cities. So it's really important to figure out a way to have like some sort of hybrid effect where you at least go into the small stores and say, can you order this for me? Is this something you can get for me? And we know that the small stores have things that you can't find on Amazon, like clothes, for example. When I look at clothes for an event, when they send them from China, the quality is really poor. I mean, you can't compare buying something at a nice store to like something that you order online and it comes from China and the quality just isn't there. And then it's really difficult to return some of these items.
And as far as getting clothes to fit too, like literally I can look at a pile of clothes and I think they all fit me, and it'll be like 10% where they either fit or they look good. And you can't tell that when you're looking at a picture on Amazon,
And I think the other problem is that people are going into stores to try on products, whether it's shoes or whatever, and then ordering them online, for a discount. I know that in Australia, they were doing something where they were charging you to try clothes on. And then if you bought them, they applied that to your purchase, because people were doing that so much. They were trying shoes on and not buying them. So, and I also know that in New York, especially, they are charging people to use their credit cards at restaurants. So that's a problem because, most people don't have cash. and they want to use their credit cards for the benefits and the perks. But if you're going to start charging people, if the stores are going to start passing that charge on, it's going to be a problem. I think it's going to hurt businesses.
So I know you do still see a lot of signs at local businesses that companies are looking for good employees. So what are you seeing in terms of staffing at local businesses around West Bloomfield?
It's still a major issue. I think, there's been some job fairs, hoping to recruit people. And really a small business can't compete with a larger business that offers all kinds of perks. So I've tried to advise them to look outside of the normal pool, look at seniors, contact maybe Parks and Rec to see if they can advertise seniors that are retired. JVS has quite a large pool of people looking for jobs. Friendship Circle looking for special needs individuals, and they're great employees. They're so excited to work. Like Dakota Bread employs quite a few of them. Soul Cafe. I've noticed even at some of our local supermarkets, they are using special needs people to bag up groceries. And so, trying to not think traditionally. And the other thing is try to make sure that your employees feel valued. It's really a very difficult thing when a manager, they say, what is it? A person doesn't quit a job, they quit a boss or a manager. So making sure that managers understand you can't scream at an employee and tell them they're worthless and then expect them to come back to work the next day feeling great about themselves. I don't know if these people feel no power in their lives and that's why they act this way, or if they think that if they make a person feel bad enough about themselves, they won't look elsewhere. But it's really an issue. And I know that today, especially this younger generation, money is not enough to keep them in a position. They want to feel valued. They want to love what they're doing, and they'll change jobs very easily, especially the higher level you go. Look at what Google had to do and Facebook and some of these larger companies to make sure that these, young people with their coffee bars, their baristas, their, time off, nap rooms, snack bars, trying to make sure that they stay there. It's sort of like the golden handcuffs, but they want to make sure that these high level employees, are happy, because we know whether it's, cheating your employee by not working 100%, that quiet quitting or whatever it is. One bad employee can ruin for the rest of your company. One bad interaction with a customer, customers can, spread the word very quickly at a restaurant or whatever, that they had a bad interaction, a bad meal. And if a manager doesn't try to rectify it, that can undo all their social media dollars.
So Suzanne, before we let you go, any events coming up with the Chamber that you want to just promote here real quick?
Absolutely. We have our Cup of Connections coming up, a Shop Cadeau. It's on the second Friday of the month. They can go to westbloomfieldchamber.com to get more details. And I'm really excited because we did find a venue for our Not So White Elephant nonprofit party every year. Except during the pandemic, we try to raise money for a small local charity. And so I urge people to come and attend. They just have to bring a new gift wrapped worth at least $20, $25. We raffle them off and all that money goes to the small charity. This year we're featuring Hospitality House Food Pantry, and it's going to be at the Avalon of Birmingham, and the chef is from the Beverly Hills Grill. So there is no charge to attend, but we're encouraging people to buy the raffle tickets because all that money is going to go to the charity. So check our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com. Call me 248-626-3636 or email me at wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com for more information.
Suzanne, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Larry, and have a wonderful week.
You as well. Suzanne Levine, Executive Director of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, joining us this morning. Well, when I was growing up in the Lansing area, I was a huge fan of the Schuler bookstores. They were a great place to find almost any book or publication you were looking for, and also a wonderful shop to grab some coffee and talk with friends. We're going to now check in with the owner of Schuler Books, Bill and Cecile Fosenfeld. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
So people might be asking, why are the owners of Schuler Books joining us on a West Bloomfield television show? Would you folks like to tell us the exciting news about Schuler Books in West Bloomfield?
Yeah. Well, we're on our way to being part of the community. We're going to open a store there.
So do you know exactly the exact location of it and what the timetable is for when you're going to be opening?
Yeah, it's in Gateway Center, which is on Orchard Lake Road, just north of 14 Mile. And we're aiming to open late winter, early spring. It's underway right now. Getting ready.
And I think there's two vacant areas over there right now. One was a Steinmart and one was a PetSmart. Which location is it going to be in?
We're in PetSmart.
Okay, PetSmart. So you're right next to. I think you're on the end. Are you on the end, or there's a Henry Ford eye center?
We're next to the optimized Henry Ford optician. Yeah, and at the other end of that strip is the Whole Foods and Walgreens. So
yeah, it's a very
great
good
mall.
Very good location.
So could you folks tell us a little bit about the history of Schuler Books? What inspired you to open a bookstore in the first place, and where was the first location?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we ought to start with the fact that we met at a bookstore many, many years ago.
Yeah, in Ann Arbor. Actually, Cecile grew up in Georgia, but decided she wanted to move north, and the first place she landed was in Metro Detroit area.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lady that I knew there who was putting me up temporarily said, "No, you need to go check out Ann Arbor." And so I did, and it was great.
And we're both the type of person who would haunt bookstores and love to read, love books. And I was working at a textbook store at the time, and Cecile walked in and took a job there, and that's where we met.
Yeah, so, and I studied English undergraduate and graduate, so we're both big readers.
And then how did that come to where you said, hey, we're going to start our own bookstore?
Yeah, okay. So after I graduated from the University of Michigan, I worked for 5.5 years at Borders when they only had one store, and it was there in Ann Arbor. And as we started our family, we thought it'd be nice to be near my parents in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And so we started looking in the Grand Rapids area for a potential location to open our own bookstore, which we found and opened in 1982. So we are just celebrating, actually tomorrow's the exact day, 40 years from when we first opened the doors of our first bookstore in Grand Rapids.
Wow. Happy anniversary, early anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about, I mentioned at the top, some of your stores have these great cafes. Can you talk about those cafes and how that adds to the experience for customers shopping at a bookstore? And will the West Bloomfield location have a cafe?
Yeah, the space is not really big enough to accommodate that. And so we won't be doing a cafe. And in fact, there's some restriction because there's some other food providers in that mall. But just to give you context, that's a 19,000 square foot space. And the store you're familiar with in Okemos, the Lansing area, is 24,000 square feet. So, about 3,000 of that is dedicated to the cafe. Mm-hmm. It's just, there's not room to do it adequately and give the kind of presentation we want for the bookstore. So we did, about 8 years ago, we purchased a store in Ann Arbor that had been in business for 17 years, and the owner was looking to retire. And it does not have a cafe. It has a lot of food options right close by, which is similar to West Bloomfield. And we found that works perfectly well for us. Lets us focus entirely on our core mission, what we want to do, which is operate, a wonderful bookstore for people to shop and hang out in and so on.
So could you give us your online presence where people can reach out and so they can get updates on when exactly the West Bloomfield location is going to open?
Yeah, absolutely. Our website, of course, www.schulerbooks.com, which is SCHULERBOOKS.com. Also on Facebook, you can search for Schuler Books. we have a big presence there, and also recently, the last couple of years on TikTok, we had a viral posting on TikTok that I can't remember what the score is now, but it was multiple millions of views and followers from all over the world, actually, who have been following that. But Facebook is a very good place to stay up to date on things as they develop.
Well, I can't tell you how excited everyone is for this bookstore to be opening. About 5 years ago, they closed the Barnes & Noble, so we have been without a bookstore for all these years. So we cannot wait until you guys open, and we'd love to be there for your grand opening.
That's really great to hear that. So you like to sit down with a real book?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and
Yeah.
and still a newspaper as well. So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people that really do like to do that. And they love to come into a bookstore and peruse and just walk around, looking at one aisle after the other. It's part of the process of seeing what's available and seeing what you want to read, and being around other people who are reading and stopping and talking to somebody who's working there and ask them if they've read it. It becomes kind of in a way, a big family of people who are really committed to the written word. It's a happy thing that we've been doing. Good profession.
Yeah, people wonder about how you compete with the online world, and what we offer is an environment. One of our booksellers was telling us just the other day about a friend who told her she had a very stressful day, and she just needed to relax, and she thought, I'll go to Schuler Books because I just enjoy hanging out there. It's a social experience for people, and it's interesting. During the pandemic, our online sales basically skyrocketed when people couldn't go out and shop, but the experience people had was very different than you normally would have online, where you're interacting with an algorithm. People might order a book, and they might order an edition that had gone out of print. So they chose the wrong edition. And they get a phone call from one of our booksellers who would say, that copy, that particular edition of the book is not available, but we do have the current edition. May I send that to you? So even online, they have that personal interaction with our booksellers. And we've been really lucky. The people who have worked in our stores are terrific. Great with our book-loving customers.
that's Bill and Cecily Fosenfeld from the new Schuler Books that's going to be going in right where the old PetSmart was, next to Kohl's in West Bloomfield on Orchard Lake Road. It should be something to look forward to as we're dealing with the long winter here in West Bloomfield, and that's supposed to be open in the spring of 2023. I want to remind everyone again about the big fire open house that's coming up this Sunday from 12 to 3. Let's take one more look at that promo.
Fire Prevention Week is just around the corner. Join volunteer, part-time, and on-call firefighters at this year's Fire Open House. Catch up on your fire safety knowledge with live demonstrations and hands-on activities. Chat with local businesses and resources about fire prevention, see some familiar faces, fight future fires, and make some new friends. The West Bloomfield Fire Open House, October 2nd from noon to 3 p.m. at Fire Station 1 on Orchard Lake Road.
Again, that's coming up this Sunday. If you cannot come out to the location, tune into Civic Center TV, and we will be there live at some point from 12 to 3. I want to thank our guests today, Suzanne Levine from the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Bill and Cecile Fosenfeld, and thanks to all of our viewers out there for hanging out with us on the Splash Live. I am Larry Nyland, and that's going to do it for today. A happy Tuesday from our own Greater West Bloomfield TV, radio, and streaming show. Watch us live Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 10 a.m. on Civic Center TV and Comcast Channel 15, CivicCenterTV.com, our Civic Center TV Facebook app. Boy, this is a long list. And you can even listen live on 89.3 Lakes FM. We will see you tomorrow.